Please take note of the disclaimer. Now, don't view this as an attempt on censorship when I cut some small portions out of the full video, such as the crowd applauding or her repeating herself to save some of your time, which I value. Thank you. Hey everybody, Stick Dude here with my first video. In this video, I'm going to be analyzing Emily Warren's speech during the Democratic National Convention because I wanted to analyze some of it and also expose some elements that I thought were kind of unreasonable. This is my first video. If you really like videos like this, let me know down below. And if you don't, let me know what I can work on. Thank you very much, and I appreciate your time when you watched my video. Thank you.
Now, we are here tonight because America faces a choice. The choice of a new president. On one side is a man who inherited a fortune from his father and kept it going by cheating people, by skipping out on debts.
He also got his money from being a master of business, expanding across many regions to make a load of cash. I mean, to sum up his achievements in this way is fairly misleading. Also, when you consider that the other candidate for the Democratic Party is a woman whose foundation has reaped rewards off of many big banks, companies, and countries that are on the lower end of the spectrum on regarding human rights.
A man who has never sacrificed anything for anyone. A man who cares only for himself every minute of every day.
Alright, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to stop her here. First off, that's the way of business. You normally don't make money in a capitalistic society when you have no care for yourself. So that statement really doesn't make much sense. So, yeah. Also, he revealed the lies of the media, stating he donated less than $10,000 over 10 years by showing the veteran societies, more than 40 of them, of which he donated a total of more than $5 million to. Now, this video is by no means a platform to defend Donald Trump for presidency because, one, I don't believe he needs it in his current successful status for his running, and two, I'm not fully for Trump. But one thing I can confirm is that I am very anti-Hillary, which is why I had the inspiration to make this video.
On the other side is one of the smartest, toughest, most tenacious people on this planet.
Correction. One of the most lying, opinion-changing, evil people on this planet. The spinning of these words right here is really important because she sets up Donald Trump to be this evil man, but Hillary is the only one that is able to save this country, you know, coming in this angelic form and everything. So that's a complete lie. I just don't realize how she can say that with her constant opinion changing. Like, one example, you know, like, for an example of a non-consistent opinion of Hillary Clinton, just look at her opinions on gay marriage. She was clearly anti-gay marriage for around 10 years, and then, wow, what a coincidence. Right before she started running for president, she said that she fully supports gay and lesbian marriage in the LGBT community. So I don't really understand why she's putting that out there. Hillary Clinton is far from a perfect human being to become president.
A woman who fights for children, for women, for health care, for human rights.
Now, I may end up repeating this later in the video, but Hillary is one of the most anti-woman people to be able to run for this position. It's kind of ironic, like I stated. Laughing over the raping of a little girl is something that I don't particularly think of as pro-woman. Getting backing from Saudi Arabia, a country that has little to no rights for any women, is not something that I really consider pro-woman. Also, fighting for children? Is there anyone on this planet who can be classified as anti-children? It's as if she's stating a positive for her not wanting to get rid of children in our society.
A woman who fights for all of us and who is strong enough to win those fights.
The only reason that she's able to win these fights is because she lies her way through them depending on each crowd that she talks to. Like, for example, the 2008 housing crisis, she goes to Wall Street, blames home buyers, and then you see in the debate with Bernie Sanders, you see that she blames Wall Street. It makes absolutely no sense the way that she keeps flip-flopping her opinions on everything. The only reason she's able to win these fights is because she's a crooked liar.
You know, for me, this choice is personal. It's about who we are as a people. It's about what kind of a country we want to be.
How can you keep saying we when you just said that it's a personal decision for you?
I grew up in Oklahoma. My daddy ended up as a maintenance man.
I personally don't get why that matters. Sure, family values get passed down, and it shows her father's hardworking background, but what about her own? She looks like a very successful woman, so this statement shouldn't get much backing from anyone.
And my mom worked a minimum wage job at Sears. My 3 brothers served in the military. The oldest was career, 288 combat missions in Vietnam. The second worked construction. And the third started his own small business. Me? I got married at 19, graduated from a commuter college in Texas that cost $50 a semester.
Okay, there it is. Some ethos to get the crowd to respect and trust her as a speaker. And honestly, it works. I'm glad she's able to start from a humble beginning to get to a successful status. It shows you don't have to be wealthy to find a career path or be successful.
The way I see it, I'm a janitor's daughter who became a public school teacher, a professor, and a United States Senator. America is truly a country of opportunity. Truly.
In its current status. So why are people like this fighting to change things like the educational system or student loans when America is the land of opportunity, like she just said? How can you come from such humble beginnings then try and make it seem like people who are in your same status need better starting points?
I am deeply grateful to that America. I believe in that America. But I'm worried. I'm worried that my story is locked in the past. Worried that opportunity is slipping away for people who work hard and play by the rules.
Oh boy, here we go. So, as you can see, she's trying to say that this old America that used to be so great is slipping away, and a new oppressionistic America is coming in. But I don't really believe that, because as she said, you can go to a community college and get an associate's degree. And what that is, you can use your associate's degree to transfer to another school where you could get an even better education if you want it. Because today, many studies are popping up that the most important thing when you're going in for a job now is not to just show them your college degree, but it's also to be a great hard worker, as she just said, and also have great social skills.
I mean, look around. Americans bust their tails, some working 2 or 3 jobs, but wages stay flat.
Minimum wage jobs may, as you said, stay flat, but these jobs are intended to be starting jobs, to use as a booster to give confidence in the workforce and move on to bigger and better things. Also, increasing the minimum wage will only devalue our currency more and give a lack of motivation for working at a bigger and better job.
Meanwhile, the basic costs of making it from month to month keep going up. Housing, healthcare, childcare, the costs are out of sight. Young people are getting crushed by student loans. Working people are in debt. Seniors can't stretch a Social Security check to cover the basics. And even families who are okay today worry it could all fall apart tomorrow. This is not right.
I kind of have to disagree with what she said about perfectly okay families having to worry about if it's all going to fall apart tomorrow, because most of those families are, in the upper middle class that are doing perfectly okay, or the upper class, for that matter. But I think that it's good that she's addressing those problems, because there are problems.
It is not. And here's the thing. America isn't going broke. The stock market is breaking records. Corporate profits are at all-time highs.
Her saying that shows that she knows very little about economics. These numbers look so big because the value of our currency is going down.
CEOs make tens of millions of dollars. There's lots of wealth in America, but it isn't trickling down to hardworking families like yours.
Now you see, it's just more pathos to try and relate to the audience. Typical speech pattern.
Does anyone here have a problem with that? Yeah, well, I do too. People get it. The system is rigged.
Now you see, she's saying this, but I mean, to defend Donald Trump, I mean, he's been saying that for a while.
So-called experts claim America is in trouble because both political parties in Washington refuse to compromise. Gridlock. That is just flat wrong. Washington works great for those at the top. When giant companies wanted more tax loopholes, Washington got it done. When huge energy companies wanted to tear up our environment, Washington got it done. When enormous Wall Street banks wanted new regulatory loopholes, Washington got it done. No gridlock there.
Now you see, this is what I'm talking about. She throws all this shade at, big corporations or big banks. These are all some of Hillary Clinton's biggest funders.
But try to do something, anything for working people, and you'll have a fight on your hands.
You can't say, since your efforts to raise the minimum wage are unsuccessful, that the working people are unsuccessful at everything that they want to achieve when they're looking at new laws being created or new regulations, stuff like that. That just isn't fair to say, and it doesn't make any sense.
Democrats have taken on those fights. That's what we do.
You can argue that, but you can't say the same for Hillary Clinton. Literally in 2008, she blamed the American working people that were buying homes on the housing crisis. She is tending to Washington in this situation. And you see, this person who's basically speaking for her, to be completely fair, is saying that Wall Street is at blame for all of this. And that's what Hillary is saying now. It's a flip-flop on opinions, and it's unfair to manipulate your audience like this.
Democrats fought to get health insurance for more Americans.
Yeah, but the Affordable Care Act, which he's obviously speaking of, hasn't really done the greatest job in saving money for everybody when it comes to healthcare. It hasn't made the biggest indentation, is what I'm trying to say. And to prove that, the alternative, which many people are asking for, nationalized healthcare, it doesn't work. Like, below, I'm gonna link a video by one of my favorite YouTubers, Steven Crowder. A video that he made where he goes into multiple Canadian clinics asking, for medical services. And ironically, his advice is to go see a family doctor, which is pretty interesting. I definitely recommend checking out his channel and having a look at the video for yourself if you want to check it out. And as always, I'm going to be leaving all my stuff down below in the description so that you can check all my facts and everything. So, yeah, I would just definitely check out that video for sure.
Democrats fought for a strong consumer agency so big banks can't cheat people. We fought, we won, and we improved the lives of millions of people. Thank you, Barack Obama. Yes, we won, but Republicans and lobbyists battled us every step of the way. 5 years later, that consumer agency has returned $11 billion to families who were cheated. And Republicans, they're still trying to kill it. Now look, I'm not someone who thinks that Republicans are always wrong and Democrats are always right. There's enough blame to go around. But there is a huge difference between people fighting for a level playing field and the people fighting to keep the system rigged.
Again, it's totally unfair for her to argue that Donald Trump is trying to keep the system rigged, which is what she's trying to imply here, obviously, when he constantly says the system is rigged.
Look at Congress since the Republicans took over. Democrats proposed refinancing student loans, and Republicans, they said no.
Probably because student loans cost money, and money isn't made from thin air. That's why Bernie Sanders' alternative of free college doesn't make any sense. Money doesn't grow on trees, and it definitely doesn't come from thin air, as I said. So these services won't do anything. The only thing that it's gonna do is devalue our currency.
Democrats proposed ending tax breaks for corporations that ship jobs overseas.
Why don't you also bring up the factor that Hillary Clinton was a huge supporter of NAFTA, something that forced around 700,000 jobs out of our country and into Mexico?
And Republicans, they said no. Democrats proposed raising the minimum wage, and Republicans, they said no. So to every Republican in Congress who said no, this November, the American people are coming for you.
I honestly don't really feel like I need to explain again why the minimum wage doesn't need to be raised.
And where was Donald Trump? In all these fights, not once did he lift a finger to help working people.
What about the around 22,000 jobs that Donald Trump allows these working people to be a part of?
And why would he? His whole life has been about taking advantage of that rigged system. Time after time, he preyed on working people, people in debt, people who had fallen on hard times. He's conned them, he's defrauded them, and he's ripped them off. Look at his history. Donald Trump said he was excited for the 2008 housing crash that devastated millions of American families because he thought it would help him scoop up more real estate on the cheap.
And you know, Hillary Clinton was excited too, because she took tons of money from Wall Street after talking about how it was the home buyers' fault for the housing crisis in 2008.
Donald Trump set up a fake university to make money by cheating people and taking their life savings.
Now, I'm not gonna lie, that is extremely shady. But on the other end of the coin, people were investing in this service because they wanted to know his real estate secrets. It's almost as fishy as clicking on a box on the side of a website that says 10 tips now for the best real estate experience or something like that, personally.
Donald Trump goes on and on and on about being a successful businessman, but he filed business bankruptcy 6 times, always to protect his own money and stick the investors and contractors with the bill.
But look where he is today.
Donald Trump hired plumbers and painters and construction workers to do hard labor for his businesses. Then he told them to take only a fraction of what he owed or fight his lawyers in court for years.
Again, I just don't really understand what she's arguing. It's like she doesn't really understand how capitalism works. You make money by working for a service, and the people who work above you give a fraction to you of the money that they make. I just don't really understand why she's saying things like this in a totally negative light. And maybe I'm missing something?
So, what kind of a man acts like this? What kind of a man roots for an economic crash that cost millions of people their jobs, their homes, their life savings? What kind of a man cheats students, cheats investors, cheats workers? Well, I'll tell you what kind of a man. A man who must never be president of the United States.
Now you see, those are Donald Trump's flaws when he was moving over from business to becoming basically a politician trying to go into office. But the thing is, that doesn't mean that Hillary Clinton is the perfect candidate, because most of her investors, if you look at them, they're big banks, corporations, people that had these influences over her because of their amount of money from this quote-unquote rigged system. Also, the thing is, she can't really talk about the negativity of talking over the housing crisis when Hillary Clinton supported Wall Street during it and targeted the home buyers as the targets. It just doesn't make sense to say that. I know I've said it so many times in this, but it really just doesn't.
And we've got the leaders to make it happen. Hillary Clinton and Tim Kaine. They're going to make it happen. You bet.
What are they gonna make happen? What? And how? Are they gonna make all these great things happen by lying to their crowd constantly, as Hillary has done in the past, or changing her opinions on the fly to get more votes? No.
Donald Trump knows that the American people are angry, a fact so obvious he can see it from the top of the Trump Tower.
I literally don't understand anything about what she just said right there. The American people are angry? How does that unify people to the Democratic Party, first of all? And that has nothing to do with how diverse the American people are, not only by skin color, by sex, by gender, but intellectual diversity. The American people are so diverse that you can't really just blanket them under one force that's obviously anti-Trump, as she's trying to put it.
So now he's insisting that he, and he alone, can fix the rigged system.
But she was just suggesting that Hillary Clinton could fix it too.
Last week, Donald Trump spoke for more than an hour on the biggest stage he's ever had. But other than talking about building a stupid wall, which will never get built, other than that wall, did you hear any actual ideas? Did you hear even one solid proposal from Trump for increasing incomes, or improving your kids' education, or creating even one single good-paying job? Look, let's face it, Donald Trump has no real plans for jobs or for college kids or for seniors.
But there are plans for these people, because these people are Americans. It might sound confusing because of what I said earlier, but he has plans for these people because they are in our country. He is trying to make the better state of our country for everybody in it, obviously except the illegal immigrants. But through this, he's shown through the tax plan that he's been trying to create.
No plans to make anything great for anyone except rich guys like Donald Trump. Just look at his ideas. Donald Trump wants to get rid of the federal minimum wage. Donald Trump wants to roll back financial regulations and turn Wall Street loose to wreck our economy again. And Donald Trump has a tax plan to give multimillionaires and billionaires like himself an average tax cut of $1.3 million a year.
But she doesn't say that that tax plan also favors the middle class, which are most of those people ironically booing.
You know, you're struggling to put your kids through college, and Donald Trump thinks he needs a $1 million tax break? Trump's entire campaign is just one more late-night Trump infomercial. Hand over your money, your jobs, your children's future, and the great Trump hot air machine will reveal all the answers.
Now, this is another problem with just her overall speech. She's confusing promoting Hillary with doing personal attacks upon Trump. Because this literally is a personal attack upon Trump. She's calling him a head full of hot air. That's what she's saying. But she's not really giving many reasons why Hillary Clinton is the best president. She's just saying, you can't really vote Trump because he's this really, really bad dude. And also Hillary's there. It's wrong.
And for one low, low price, he'll even throw in a goofy hat.
Did you just, kind of forget that you're speaking at the Democratic National Convention to millions of people?
And here's the really ugly underside to his pitch. Trump thinks he can win votes by fanning the flames of fear and hatred, by turning neighbor against neighbor, by persuading you that the real problem in America is your fellow Americans.
But the thing is, he's not trying to divide America. She can't really act like every person in America is some illegal citizen because they're not even allowed to be here. It's just unfair to say that. And she's acting like every single American here is an illegal citizen. That's what she's suggesting by saying something like that. Also, he's not trying to divide us, he's trying to unite us by pinpointing the problems in our society. People who assume that he's anti-Mexican and racist because he says that many illegal immigrants come from Mexico is foolish. And the same with the whole Muslim scandal.
People who don't look like you, or don't talk like you, or don't worship like you.
Now notice that she ironically says nothing about intellectual diversity, which is by far the most common form of diversity among people, because no two people think the exact same.
He even picked a vice president famous for trying to make it legal to openly discriminate against gays and lesbians. That's Donald Trump's America, an America of fear and hate.
I know this is kind of random, but I thought that I should bring it up. Those people booing are probably also the same people that would totally defend Muslims, which follow a religion that is strongly anti-gay.
An America where we all break apart. Whites against blacks and Latinos, Christians against Muslims and Jews, straight against gay, everyone against immigrants. Race, religion, heritage, gender, the more factions, the better.
Notice again how she doesn't mention intellectual diversity.
But ask yourself this. When white workers in Ohio are pitted against black workers in North Carolina or Latino workers in Florida, who really benefits? Divide and conquer is an old story in America. Dr. Martin Luther King knew it. After his march from Selma to Montgomery, he spoke of how segregation was created to keep people divided. Instead of higher wages for workers, Dr. King described how poor whites in the South were fed Jim Crow, which told a poor white worker that, quote, no matter how bad off he was, at least he was a white man, better than the black man.
She is literally comparing the effects of slavery to Donald Trump's opinions on illegal immigrants. That makes no sense whatsoever.
Racial hatred was part of keeping the powerful on top.
Yes, but Donald Trump's opinions on illegal immigrants have nothing to do with race and everything from the rewards that they are reaping from our country.
When we turn on each other, bankers can run our economy for Wall Street, oil companies can fight off clean energy, and giant corporations can ship the last good jobs overseas.
Yes, and also all of those places can support a crooked candidate to become president of the United States who buys out other candidates to support her, and also signs documents that get people to work outside of our country.
When we turn on each other, rich guys like Trump can push through more tax breaks for themselves, and then we'll never have enough money to support our schools or rebuild our highways or invest in our kids' future. When we turn on each other, we can't unite to fight back against a rigged system. Well, I've got news for Donald Trump. The American people are not falling for it.
Well, that's not entirely true, because if what she means by the American people is Bernie supporters, which is what she's trying to win with this speech, they're moving over to Donald Trump. None of those people like Hillary Clinton.
We've seen this ugliness before, and we are not going to be Donald Trump's hate-filled America. Not now, not ever. This is about our values, about our shared values with our candidates, Hillary Clinton and Tim Kaine. Let's talk about those values. We believe that no matter who you are, no matter where you're from, no matter who you love, equal means equal. Hillary will fight to make sure discrimination has no place in America, and we're with her.
But it shouldn't matter where you come from and what significance you have when you come into the country, because these people who come in with no documentation or come in without alerting the United States or going through any paperwork and get the benefits of somebody who's born in the United States or earns their citizenship legally, it runs down the amount of effort that they have to put in. So why should people even bother with legal citizenship when illegal citizenship, going into the country illegally, is allowed like this? And it won't be punished by anybody, especially Hillary Clinton.
We believe that no one who works full-time should live in poverty. Hillary will fight for raising the minimum wage, fair scheduling, paid family and medical leave, and we're with her. We believe every kid in America should have a chance for a great education without getting crushed by debt. Hillary will fight for refinancing student loans and debt-free college. We are with her.
I've already explained both things that you just mentioned, so if you really want to hear them again, you can scroll back in the video.
And we believe that after a lifetime of hard work, seniors should be able to retire with dignity. Hillary will fight to expand Social Security, strengthen Medicare, and protect our retirement accounts, and we're with her.
One thing that I didn't really mention before is that it's really hard to pay for things like this when you don't increase your tax plan, which is where you get most of your money from the American people. You're not really going to get that much money from taxing Wall Street, which is never going to happen, realistically.
We believe that oil companies shouldn't call the shots in Washington, that science matters, that climate change is real. Hillary will fight to preserve this earth for our children and grandchildren, and we're with her.
The thing that she doesn't say is that many people like Hillary Clinton who support those things, or many science agencies who support those things, are funded by companies such as big oil companies.
We believe, and I can't believe I have to say this in 2016, in equal pay for equal work and a woman's right to control over her own body. Hillary will fight for women, and we're with her.
Oh my gosh, where do I even start with this one? First of all, the gender wage gap is a total myth. All it is the total earnings of men and the total earnings of women in America put side by side, and saying that women earn less, thus they're discriminated against, which, first of all, is against the law to pay a woman less than a man. It's literally against the law. Second of all, Hillary Clinton doesn't believe that women should be able to have control over their own bodies, technically, if you take into account that she doesn't think that women are responsible enough to purchase their own birth control.
We believe we don't need weaker rules on Wall Street. We need stronger rules. And when big banks get too risky, break them up. Hillary will fight to hold big banks accountable, and we're with her.
She won't hold them accountable because they're giving her all their freaking money.
And we believe that the United States should never sign trade deals that help giant corporations but leave workers in the dirt. Hillary will fight for American workers, and we're with her.
Well, she didn't fight for them when she signed NAFTA.
Okay. And just one more. We believe we must get big money out of politics and root out corruption. Hillary will fight to overturn Citizens United and return this government to the people.
Oh my God. What? How would Hillary Clinton do that? She is literally run by her investors.
If you believe that America must work for all of us, not just for the rich and powerful, if you believe we must reject the politics of fear and division, if you believe that we are stronger together, then let's work our hearts out to make Hillary Clinton the next president of the United States. Thank you.
Wow. So make of that what you want, but those are all of my opinions on this subject matter. And one thing that I must say, thank you very, very much for watching my video. I appreciate all of your guys' time. Please leave a comment below if you like this video or if you dislike this video. Just let me know what you think. And have a nice day or night.